This video was sponsored by Enhance, NeoWatt, ABRP, Elbilmek, Kempower and EB Hub. Yo, what's up? We're now sitting in the new Audi Q6 e-tron. It has some minor changes. They don't even call this a facelift, but it has some nice improvements here. And it's still the 800 volt architecture. It can take 280 kilowatt or 85. But this video will be about the Amphenol versus Phoenix cables, and yeah, the charge gate maybe, I don't know. It comes a bit late. I'm now on a trip. We are currently in Denmark near Give, and yeah, want to show you guys some stuff, very interesting stuff about cables that I didn't know about, or I didn't experience it firsthand until I tried something that charged really fast. Not this car, no, the Xpeng X9, yeah, and G9. So well, actually, okay, there are some other cars also, like the Seeker 7 GT or Seeker 7X, and also maybe the MG IM5, IM6, and the BMW iX3 Neue Klasse. They also charge quite schnell, and they will be able to hit some limits that normally most people don't know about. So first, let me tell you about, okay, we have the liquid cooled cables. Ioniq, they tend to use them. You have those high, tall dispensers. They are usually 350 kilowatts. Some of them are older, tritium, and seems like they don't have enough spare parts because they went bankrupt, tritium. So they have throttled them to only around 250 kilowatt or 280 kilowatt. Was it 70? Okay, around there, yes. But you can see in the app how many kilowatt it can deliver. But those dispensers, they have liquid cooled cables, and it's not that common. I think it's because it tends to be a bit more expensive to invest in, but also it requires some maintenance since there's coolant in there, right? And there is actually a pump that, you know, yeah, does all that stuff. And also actually Tesla supercharger V3, V4, they also have those liquid cooled dispensers. And then pro tip, if you charge at the supercharger, especially V3, they seem to be prone for this error. And suddenly you get only 37 kilowatt or around there, 35 kilowatt. Try to change stall and you might suddenly get 150 kilowatt or whatever you're supposed to get, because the cooling unit on those can fail. Also, when you use those old ABB chargers, the 175 kilowatt, the one that has this tall thing with a little opening on the top there, right? Like Lord of the Rings, right? Or like this, yeah. They also have the same problem. Fortunately, they are less and less common. They're taken out. I know that Circle K had many of those 175 kilowatt ABB. They were also quite unreliable, and also had the cooling problem. And then they also, if it fails, it also defaults to around 35, 37 kilowatt. Then it will have to change stall. Unfortunately, there are not that many stalls on those sites, but okay, well there. So that was the liquid cooled cables. And then we have the dry cables that are very common nowadays. And there are mainly two manufacturers. There's actually one more, but okay, we have Phoenix and Amphenol. And the way you can identify them is quite easy. The Phoenix contact, it will say Phoenix there, but it's big and long and black, okay. And it has the HPC on the side, whereas Amphenol is shorter, smaller, and yeah. And then, since these are dry cables, not liquid cooled cables, they cannot go at maximum speed all night long, unlike the 500 amp cables. But the dry cables, they can at least go in this boost mode. And then depending on which one of them, some of them they go on 500 amp boost, but also the very common 400 kilowatt Alpitronic with those Amphenol / Phoenix cables, they can go 600 amp boost. But then here's the difference, because how long you can boost depends on how good the quality on the cable is. And the Phoenix contact, they are way better than the Amphenol. So for example, if you saw the 1000 kilometer challenge of the X9, and also it was another car, I think it was a G6 or G, I don't remember which car, but I ended up at that Hobby, the truck charger, that Hobby. Fast, easy, reliable. No, okay, fast, easy, yes. At that Hobby, the truck charger, that Hobby, which has the Amphenol. and then you get the zigzag curve. Very consistent, actually. Unfortunately, that you get that zigzag curve. What happens is that there are 2 pins, and then in the plug, and then there's temperature monitors. So once the pins they overheat, then it just throttles, but then after a while it cools down, and then it can go higher speed. That's what, hence you get that zigzag curve. The Phoenix contact, the good contact, the one you should be looking at if you have the fast charging cars, then you can boost at least 25 minutes or longer. It's just amazing how good it is. And then Xbang, when I tested it, you know, the X9 or the G9, they only need somewhere between 5 and 8 minutes at the max current, but max current might not even be 600 amp. It depends on the voltage, like 550-ish or 600 amp, only for 5 to 8 minutes. That's what they need. So, but that's simply not enough for the Amphenol. So, because Amphenol can boost only 3 to 4 minutes before it throttles. So I hit the limit on many of the Xbang cars. But then most other cars, they only need 3 to, let's say 2 to 3 minute boost. When I tested that, it was a Volvo, the S90, it can peak at 320 kilowatt. I charge at Circle K at Hogstorp, but I used the Amphenol as a coincidence because it was before I was aware of this, before I start testing Xbang. But there I did not get any throttle, simply because the Volvo has okay voltage, over 700 charging voltage, and it cannot maintain that speed for too long, 320 kilowatt. So you see, what I'm talking about in this video might not affect you at all. If you have a Leaf, if you have a classic Ioniq, it doesn't matter which plug you use. But also interesting, I got some info from this guy from Sweden. He said that during the heat wave a couple of weeks ago, the Amphenol can only push 220 amp continuous. I was like, what, really? Because I thought for the longest time that the fallback current was 375 amp. That's what they are rated for. No, Amphenol, it's shite, only 220 amp. And then he has some insight in Kempower in the charge eye, and he could see that Kempower monitors the pin temperature, and then it will throttle to avoid 90 degrees Celsius. And then during the heat wave, even during the heat wave, right, when you are charging a truck or something, Phoenix contact, they are rock stable at only 60 degrees Celsius on the pins. Amazing. And then, yeah, D rating starts at 80 degrees. So the Phoenix, they were not nowhere near close to the D rate levels there. But also, this guy, my friend, he told me that the plugs, they actually degrade over time. And the problem is that there is two pin temp. And then as the pins degrade, the delta between the 2 pins will increase. And that is bad, I guess, just like delta between min and max temp in a car, like in an EV. So, here's the problem. Amphenol plugs, they already have high delta between min max temp when they are new versus the much better Phoenix contact. And also degraded plugs, they will take less current than when they are new. So I didn't know this because I thought cables, they have no moving parts, they don't degrade. Well, maybe the cable itself, the one that is dug underground, doesn't degrade, but at least the plugs, they actually have some physical contact, right, every time. So that could be it, and maybe they're also exposed for the environment. But also interesting thing is that if you park bad in a bad way, or if you have a fat e-tron, it doesn't affect this car, fortunately. It's also fat, but not that fat. When you park skewed a bit bad and you plug it in a bad way, the side momentum on the plug actually makes higher pin temp delta, which then derates it earlier. So yeah, if you have one of those cars, maybe that affects you. Yeah, I forgot to mention something. Yeah, when I mentioned those fast charging cars, well, it also affects fast charging 400 volt cars like MEB cars. For example, Volkswagen ID.7, right? Or lots of MEB, actually. The ones that can take 500 amp flat, they're also affected by this. Also, earlier MEB cars, they had some problems with handshake if there was too much side momentum. But at least the newer MEB cars, they have fixed this. So if you have an old MEB, maybe you have problems with handshake all the time, maybe you should check this out. And okay, another side topic which is also kind of relevant, is because I've experienced this during my trip with the G9, if you guys remember, to Halmstad, is that Circle K, I experienced that they have a lot of weird stuff going on. I got this information from my friend that they do some kind of software control over the power, and they have the slow ramp up. Normally, even the Xpeng G9, even if it's kind of slow to ramp up, it needs only around 30 seconds to 1 minute to ramp up to full speed. But then at Circle K, it can take 3 minutes or more. So that actually affects the whole charging session, because those Xpengs, they typically need only 5, let's say 6 to 10 minutes to charge, right? So of course a 3 minute ramp up is gonna affect the whole charging session. And also not only that, but I experienced this many Circle Ks, they have limited the speed. So it says 400 kilowatt on the charger, it says 400 kilowatt in the app, but you're not getting it. You're getting around 250 to 280 kilowatt. It depends which site. I experienced this at Tangen, Spekkerød, Kungsbakka, Varberg, Møllendal. Many sites they have this, but then not all the sites. For example, Ioniq Dal, the truck chargers, they deliver full power, 400 kilowatt flat, the truck charger with a Phoenix contact. So yeah. And also, yeah, when it comes to other chargers, for example, Kempower, unfortunately, my sponsor, Kempower, for now, they have mostly 500 amp limit. So it's like, I'm trying to educate you guys, because nowadays, there are more and more 800 volt cars out there that can charge pretty fast. But when you see 400 kilowatt at a Kempower, for example, Ljungskile, you can most likely not get 400 kilowatt with your 800 volt car, because the limit over there, like many other Kempower sites for now, is that it has 500 amp limit. So you can usually get around 300, 330 kilowatt only, yes. So we need MAGA, yeah. We need make amperes great again. So hopefully Kempower, they will maybe eventually deliver software and hardware that can allow also 600 amp boost, or maybe even more. I wonder if those Phoenix contacts, because they have so good quality, they can even boost higher, let's say 650 to 700 amp. When I tested on the Tesla supercharger V4 at Hellerudsletta, the only true V4 supercharger, 800 volt and 1000 volt actually, architecture, it has liquid cooled cables, the V4 dispenser, and it can deliver at least, how much was it again? Was it 700 amp? Yeah, it was crazy high. Yeah, no, it was, yeah, probably around there, right? At least 650 amps or higher. So it would be great, maybe, if other providers can also have this. And then also, I should mention that Ioniq at Elbilmek, they have a so-called 500 kilowatt charger. It's that Polish manufacturer, Eko-Energetica, what they will call. I could not get 500 kilowatt on the Xpeng, because over there also, as expected, they are limited to 500 amp only. So it was 300 something kilowatt only. So just bear that in mind. That's many chargers are like that. So when it's a freaking jungle, well, just look for the very common, the 400 kilowatt, yeah, hypercharger. Look for the 400 kilowatt. They're very common across Europe. And then look for the Phoenix contact. If you have a fast charging car, then you are safe. Other than that, then yeah, doesn't matter for you. And then also many people, they wonder, why does the voltage drop when you charge at higher state of charge? It should increase, right? Well, many cars that charges pretty fast, like Xpeng, or they use LFP, and LFP has a very flat charging voltage curve from 0% to 100%. And then charging voltage goes up higher. If you ever notice it when you have, for example, car scanner, you will see that the battery voltage might be at 650 at 10%. But when I plug in, you see that the voltage suddenly jumps up to 700. So that's the charging voltage, not the pack resting voltage. But then as the power decreases the higher state of charge, then that charging voltage decreases. That's why it appears as the voltage is dropping, but it's not dropping. The battery voltage is slowly increasing on LFP battery. So yeah, that was somewhat long explanation. Hopefully this was useful for you when you are on a trip and you're wondering why you're charging a bit slower than usual. Or even better, if you're a ninja, once you learn all of this, once you get to a site, you can instantly detect, okay, this car, whatever car you're sitting in, right, can take more than 350 kilowatt. Then you go for the Phoenix contact and hypercharger. Or if it's capped at 350 kilowatt anyway, then you could go for the 350 kilowatt Ioniq. And then if you have 800 volt car, then you want to go for Ioniq or whatever other 800 volt. But then if you have a 400 volt car, then actually, yeah, when I mentioned the MAB cars, by the way, good deal for them is to go for supercharger, at least V3, not V2, but V3, V4. Because then you have the liquid cooled cables and you will not experience any throttling if you have a fast charging MB car, of course, the 82 or 91 kilowatt hour battery. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching and talk to you later.